These are the tips for labeling measure. For nominal, it is for categorical data with no fixed ranking. For example, gender. Gender is normally labeled as 1 equal to male and 2 equal to female, but we can also label 1 equal to female and 2 equal to male, which is not wrong because there is no fixed ranking. For ethnicity, race A, race B, race C, we can label it as race A, race C, race B, and so on. For ordinal data, categorical data with fixed ranking, from positive to negative or low to high. For example, Likert scale data, 1 equal to strongly disagree, 2 equal to disagree, and so on until 5 equal to strongly agree. So this data have a rank from the negative opinion to the positive opinion. For age group, there is a level 1 equal to less than 20, 2 equal to 21 to 39, 3 equal to 40 to 60, and 4 equal to more than 60 years old. So there is a rank also here from the lowest to the highest age group. For skill data, it is for continuous data, either interval or ratio data. An example of interval data is temperature. For temperature, it can be negative value to positive value. For example, in a room, the temperature is negative 12, another room is 0 Celsius, and another room is 4, and another room is 24. So therefore, the lowest value for temperature is not 0. So you get negative value. For ratio scale, for example, performance score, the respondent score 45, 67, 83, and so on. Performance score have no negative value. 0 is the lowest score. Therefore, the difference between interval and ratio scale is interval scale has negative value. Besides that, data with decimals are scale data. For example, 62.3, 45.60. When you see a data with decimal point, it's certainly a scale data. So we have to label scale in the measure column. After labeling the measure column, we will move to the right side of the screen, where we have with missing columns, align, and row column. All these columns are set, and there is no need to label all of them. But for the missing column, for example, gender, if we want to label the missing value, gender is labeled as 1 and 2. We can click on the box and select the discrete missing value and type a number that beyond number 1 and 2. So normally we will use the number 3, 4, 5, and so on. But normally we will use the number 9 as a number to represent a respondent that is missing for this variable gender. So therefore, if a respondent is not choosing whether male or female, then we can just type 9 in the data view. So at the moment, we can just select 9. So for age is labeled as 1, 2, 3. So we can label it at 9 also, using a 9, the number 9. Highest level of education, 1, 2, 3, 4. The categories are 1, 2, 3, 4. So we can use the number 9 also. So we can right click, copy, and just paste it. For the section B and section C, like a skill 1 to 5. 1 to 5. So therefore, we can also use the number 9 because the number 9 is beyond 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 to represent the missing value. So we can also highlight all the items until 13. So this 10 item. So right click and paste. We go to the final section. Section D, final semester score. The basic skill is 0 to 100. So between 0 to 100, we can't put the 9 here because 9 is one of the score in the scale of 0 to 100. Therefore, we have to put a number that is bigger than it. Maybe we can put it 101 or other number. So normally, people will try to use a number 999. So okay, so we use the number 999 to represent it. So it is easier to memorize. When the respondent didn't put a score in the questionnaire, then we will type the data as 999. So the computer will recognize that this is a missing value for that respondent data. Okay, for the column, align, row, and width, there is no need to label them for all the variables. So therefore, we have completed labeling all the columns in the variable view. Here I would like to explain the 5 columns that we didn't label. The first one is width. Width is the number of digits for a numerical data or a string data. Align, we can set the position or alignment of the data cell or output table by choosing left, right, or center. Then for columns, it is the width of each column in the data view. A row is the row of a variable in the data set in the analysis. Under the row, we can choose input to represent the independent variable. Target is the dependent variable. If we choose both, that means the variable will be used as both independent variable and dependent variable. We also can choose none. It means the variable has no rule assignment. So we do not know the variable is an independent or dependent variable. Partition. The variable partition the data into separate data. The last one is split. The variable used with the IBM SPSS modeler, another software program. For the missing column, it is used to define missing data of a variable. There is no need to change the 5 columns because the result of the analysis will not be affected by changing or not changing these 5 columns. For the next step, we will key the data in the data view. So we click the data view button to key in the data. So when we click the data view button, we will see all the variables labeled their name. The name appear in the column. So these are the name of the variables. All the 15 variables are labeled as column for each one. So now we can key in the data for the respondent 1. To enter the data, we look at the questionnaire for the first respondent. For section A, demographic detail, the response for the first item gender is 1. For the second item age is 2. 1 and 2, 2. Then highest level of education is 3. So 1, 2, 3. Then we type the respondent. This is respondent 1. 1, 2, and 3. So we type the response for the first 3 items. Then we move on to the item EQ for section B. So section B, we look at the 5 items. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. For 5 items, the response are 2, 2, 3, 2, 2. So we just type 2, 2, 3, 2, and 2. Then we move to the section C. Section C, the response for the 5 items from work motivations are 4, 4, 5, 4, 5. So we just move on. 4, 4, 4, 4, 5, 4, 5. So we type 4, 4, 5, 4, 5. 4, 4, 5, 4, 5. Then we move to the last 2 items, mathematics and chemistry. So for mathematics score 67, chemistry is 80. So we type 67 and 80. Then we move to the second respondent. So for the second respondent, I will open the second respondent. So this is the second respondent's data, questionnaire. So for this one, we look at the section A. This respondent gender is female. So female is labeled as 2 in the data. Then age is above 30 is 3. Then highest level of education, diploma, level as 2. Then we move to the 5 EQ items, emotional intelligence for section B. So the response are 5, 4, 5, 4, 4. So you will type 5, 4, 5, 4, 4. Then for section C, 4, 4, 4, 2. So we go to the section C. 4, 4, 4, 4, 2. So then, finally, for the section D, mathematics score 57 and chemistry score 59. So 57, 59. So now we have successfully entered the data for the first 2 respondents. So this process will be continued until all the questionnaire are typed into this SPSS data view. This is an example set of complete data in the SPSS data view. So in this data, I have 80 respondents. So 80 respondents with all the data entered into the data view, the SPSS data view. After entering all the data, then we can save the data by clicking the file. Then just save as. So you can save the data. Maybe you can click this save as, and you just select the place where you want to save the data. For example, you save it in desktop. Then you can type the name. So the SPSS data is in SAV. You type the name. Let's say data 1. So next time you can open the data 1 for analysis. So this SPSS data is in SAV data. So you can click save. So you will save the data. As you can see, the data now is saved in the desktop. So when I double click it, I will open the data, the same data again in the SPSS for data analysis.